Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. We're going to dive right in and do a little bit of digital archaeology. We are looking at a very specific, fascinating artifact left on GitHub. Now on the surface, this might just look like a standard storage folder for code, but when we actually dig into the source material, it reveals a completely radical shift in how we manage human knowledge. We're talking about this incredible concept known as knowledge as code. Think about it. Rather than just storing random text files on your desktop, what actually happens when you treat your personal thoughts, your notes, and your ideas with the exact same rigorous infrastructure that developers use to build massive global software applications? Well, let's find out. Just look at this single line of text. It's the bio for a public repository named Obsidian Ishan, and it literally changes how we view this entire setup. It says, "a part of my second brain." Now, if you're familiar with the space, you know a second brain is usually a digital system for organizing your knowledge, very often using note-taking apps like Obsidian. But this user, Ishan Savak, didn't just leave their notes sitting on a local hard drive. By pushing this second brain out to GitHub, they're essentially treating their personal knowledge base as a living, breathing code base.
And this completely flips the script on what a typical GitHub project looks like. Unlike those massive open source projects you usually see, this repo has 0 stars. It has 0 forks. Nobody else is copying it, and literally nobody is bookmarking it. Yet, it is highly active with 35 commits. That perfectly highlights its intensely personal utility. You know, a commit is basically a save change, a snapshot in time. So this isn't some public gallery meant for applause. It's a deeply private, highly active workshop where this user is continuously version controlling their own mind.
Let's zoom out for a second from Ishan Sivak's specific repository and take a look at the massive ecosystem that surrounds this digital mind. When you place a personal knowledge base on GitHub, you're not just getting free cloud storage. You are placing your raw thoughts right in the middle of a massive, interconnected development environment. To really grasp the sheer power of what this user is building, we need to understand the tools hovering just one click away.
That brings us to Section 1, the AI creation ecosystem.
So, the navigation menu quickly reveals that this is way more than a place to just store code. It's a full-blown AI-powered developer platform. The very first major tool sitting right next to this user's files is GitHub Copilot, which is designed to help users write better code using AI. Now, in the software world, Copilot auto-completes lines of code. But frame that in the context of knowledge as code. If your notes are structured in this repo, having an AI assistant right there means you have a collaborative partner. It can help synthesize ideas, suggest hidden connections between your notes, or even format your data on the fly. It's like a sparring partner for your thoughts.
Next up, we have GitHub Spark, which provides the actual infrastructure to build and deploy intelligent apps. The crucial takeaway here is that a second brain doesn't have to just sit there as static text. With tools like Spark right at your fingertips, you could theoretically turn your personal knowledge base into an interactive application. Imagine your raw notes becoming a fully deployed app that you can query and interact with from anywhere.
And for fine-tuning exactly how that AI interprets your information, there's GitHub Models. This lets you manage and compare different prompts. This is where the integration gets super sophisticated. When you have this massive, sprawling database of personal notes, how you ask an AI to interact with that data changes absolutely everything. Having a built-in feature to compare prompt performance means this user can meticulously calibrate exactly how their digital brain responds.
But crucially, the new MCP registry allows this whole ecosystem to connect directly with external tools in AI agents. Think about an autonomous agent like anti-gravity. A second brain really shouldn't exist in a vacuum, right? By using the MCP registry, almost like a central nervous system, agents like anti-gravity can actively interface with this repository. It can pull in external research, analyze your existing notes, and dynamically update your knowledge base. It's constantly pushing information out and pulling vital context back in. Which leads us nicely into Section 2, automating developer workflows. Because let's be real, a second brain needs to do a lot more than just think and connect. It needs to act. We can actually map these developer workflows quite logically based on the menu options. You've got issues to plan and track work, code spaces for instant development, code review to manage changes, and actions to automate the whole shebang. Imagine tracking your personal life goals or research topics, not in some basic to-do app, but using GitHub Issues. You can spin up a code space to test a new formatting layout and review your own historical thought changes before permanently committing them to your brain. The Actions feature is just incredibly powerful here. It gives a personal repository the ability to automate practically any workflow without any manual intervention.
Think about the heavy lifting of maintaining a second brain, sorting files, tagging metadata, summarizing daily notes. With GitHub Actions, you just write scripts that handle all of it behind the scenes. You could literally set an action to trigger an AI agent like anti-gravity every single time you add a new note. It could instantly summarize and categorize your thoughts, making your knowledge base a completely self-organizing entity.
Let's move on to Section 3, Platform Security and Scale.
Whenever you put a piece of your mind on the internet, especially one wired up with all this automation and AI access, security is absolutely paramount. We aren't talking about a random text file on a desktop anymore. This is a sophisticated data structure. Features like advanced security to catch vulnerabilities and secret protection to stop leaks ensure that whatever is inside this second brain stays locked down. Secret protection is especially vital. If you're connecting your second brain to external AI models using API keys and passwords, GitHub's enterprise-grade protection ensures those private keys don't accidentally get exposed to the world.
This brings us to Section 4, Evidence of Integration. Now you might be wondering, is there actual proof this user is leveraging these massive tools? Let's zoom back into the Obsidian Ishan repository itself and look at the history. And boom, here is the smoking gun. The very latest commit message left by the user simply states, Gemini full access. That is incredibly revealing. Gemini, as we know, is Google's highly capable AI model. This little commit message strongly suggests the user has successfully configured their second brain to integrate directly with that specific AI. We look at the broader context. Out of 35 total commits, this specific moment in the history shows a direct bridge being built between a deeply personal repo and an external AI model. Those 35 commits weren't just the user writing down grocery lists. They were iterating, they were building and configuring a system. The culmination of all that work is granting an advanced AI full access to their knowledge base. They're likely using the MCP registry, actions, and API keys to let Gemini read, process, and organize their second brain.
And honestly, it creates this brilliant, almost funny contrast. On one side, you have this multi-billion-dollar enterprise platform built for global companies, pitching high-end security and AI to healthcare and financial services. And sitting right in the exact middle of all that infrastructure is one person's digital notebook, quietly using those exact same enterprise tools to organize their personal thoughts.
Which leaves us with a truly fascinating question to ponder. As these AI and automation tools continue to grow, what actually happens when you host your mind on a developer platform? We are officially moving way past the era of static note-taking. By treating knowledge as code and leveraging tools like Actions, the MCLP registry, and agents like Anti-Gravity and Gemini, our notes can become active, intelligent, self-organizing systems. The Obsidian Ishan repository proves that the future of personal knowledge management might just look a whole lot like software engineering. Thanks for joining me on today's Explainer, and I highly encourage you to think about how you are managing your own digital knowledge. See you next time.